Shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Alakim who are pushing the truth with sincerity. All right. So through the Spirit, just going to come back and do a quick lesson in Isaiah 13, and it starts off at the top. This is Shabai from GMS Denver. So we'll read at the top, verse 13 and 1, Isaiah. The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, and exalt the voice unto them. Shake the hand that they may go into the gates of the nobles. All right, and that's what this knowledge and this truth is. We're lifting up that banner upon a high mountain, this is the highest mountain. Eventually, it's going to be the highest mountain. Right now, we're just here teaching the scriptures, But this is that banner. The truth is the banner. All right. It says, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, and that they may go into the gates of the nobles. And this truth right here, because we're lifting up this banner up on this high mountain, it's caught the attention of the elite, the wicked elite, And we've entered into the gates of the nobles. The nobles are the wicked elite, And they're basically they see the videos going up. They watch the videos. So this is how we've entered the gates into the nobles, and it's through this truth that we are teaching on the internet. All right, verse 3. I have commanded my sanctified ones, I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness. All right. So his sanctified ones, that the word sanctified goes back to cleanse. That's where you get the word sanitize. Sanctified, saint. Saint goes into being purified. Being purified, being purged from all your iniquity. Washing yourself, cleansing yourself in this knowledge and this truth, just like it tells you in Psalms 1:19 and 9, I believe 1:19 and 9. Might be 1:11 and 9, but 1:19 and 9, I think. But it says that you sanctify yourself, you cleanse yourself. How shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed to this truth. So the sanctified ones is dealing with the elect. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger. His mighty ones, those are the angels. Those are the chariots that the Yahweh Bashem Yahshua has called. And they're going to bring they're going to help with the destruction, the way you call the UFOs, the Lord's chariots, the Lord's angels. He's brought these because of his anger, because eventually he's gonna cause the green light to shine, and they're gonna on command. It says in verse 4, the noise of a multitude in the mountains like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of the nations gathered together, and Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. So the kingdoms of the nations, this is, remember, Ronald Reagan said it, he had mentioned it in the 80s. He said, hey, if there's any type of threat outside of, this world, he says that he would hope that they could put their differences aside and fight together against basically, in other words, an alien invasion. Ronald Reagan quoted that in the 80s. And because they know about the scriptures, they know the prophecy, and this is what it's talking about right here. The noise of the kingdoms of the nations gathered together. Yahweh Bashem of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. Right? So Yahweh Bashem Yahshai the angels, they're going to take on the nations in World War III, when they start firing missiles. Verse 5, they came from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh Bashem Yoshai, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. And what's that land going to be? That's going to be Babylon, America. Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. All right, you're going to have all kinds of destruction, annihilation. You're going to have the damage that the missiles do. You're going to have the damage that the chariots do. The angels. It's going to be a destruction. And who's it going to be coming from? It's going to be coming from the Almighty, Yahweh. All right. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. I mean, everyone's going to be scared. Even the elect are going to be scared for a moment, but we know what it is. So it helps a little bit when you know what's about to happen. Verse 8, and they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. So these people are not going to believe the pain and torment and the hurt that they're going to go through. They're going to that's why it says they're going to be caught like a thief in the night. That's how Yahweh Shai comes back, like a thief in the night, unannounced. It's going to happen so fast they're not going to know what hit them. But the elect is going to know what hit them. You see? All right, verse 9, it says, behold, the day of Yahweh cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners there out of it. All right, the 2/3 and the heathen. They're going to get fucked up in the day of the wrath of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, when he comes with fierce anger. Verse 10, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. Yeah, because you got to understand, when those missiles hit, it causes like the ground to uproot. So you're going to just see, along with a bunch of dust in the air, dust representing confusion also. But you're going to have confusion. You're not going to be able to see the sun shining. It's a metaphor, like when people say, oh, it's a good day, the sun's shining. Well, this day is not going to be good for the heathen in the 2/3. All that destruction is going to block out the sun and even the moon, for a time. Verse 11, it says, and I will punish the world for their evil and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. All right. So, right now, Donald J. Trump, he's all pumped up. He's all he's all pompous in his attitude. He's prideful, haughty. I just saw him, he made a quote that said, oh, the nations of the world are kissing my ass right now. Something to that, nature, something, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to that effect, you see. So this is that pride and that arrogancy that's going to be caused to cease. Because when the destruction comes, hey, even these wicked elite, they're going to get hunted out of out of the rocks where they're hiding. So, it's going to cause all that proudness and haughtiness to be laid low, like it says here, lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. It says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. So that's talking about the elect man, the Israelite elect man. We're going to be rare, the ones who understand this knowledge, the ones who are, really going into the prophets. But you're going to have men of the elect who will be precious in that day, right? But the prophets, we have the interpretation, we have the understanding, you see. Therefore will I shake the heavens and the earth, and shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of hosts, in the day of his fierce anger. So the earth is going to remove out of her place. It's going to shake, the missiles, all the destruction. It's going to shake the planet Earth. it talks about it's going to shake like a drunkard. The earth is going to shake. Let's get that real quick. Because the missiles and the impact, Isaiah 24:20 says, see, the Lord gave Isaiah the prophet all these accounts of the earth shaking, right? It says in Isaiah 24:20, the earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. All right, and that's not talking about the earth will never be, will be destroyed. The entire earth is not going to be destroyed. Remember, the scripture says, the earth abideth forever. But it's talking about that destruction is going to be, let's get it again. It shall not rise again, meaning Babylon won't rise again. The way of the rulership, the wicked elite, the wicked heathen, they're not going to rise again to be the rulers of the earth. Once this destruction happens, this is when the kingdom is ushered in, and we're going to do everything according to the ways and the laws and the commandments and the statutes of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. All right, verse 14, it says, and it shall be as the chase roe and a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people and flee everyone into his own land. All right, and that's going to happen right before the destruction. And 15, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Talking about the war and the missiles. Their children also shall be dashed into pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. All right, so this is during all this chaos. You're going to have, you can read, I think, what is it, 2nd Ezra 15, talks about all this, all the craziness and madness that's coming in the last days to these cities, to Babylon, America. Sedition among men, is one of them. Let's see, I think that is in, 2nd Ezra 15. Let's grab that real quick. 2nd Ezra 15. Let's see where it starts at. Okay, 2nd Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. Right, the sword in their destruction, dealing with the war, World War III. There's no other war that's happened where brought destruction, annihilation. But now with the the technology of the nuclear missiles, this is going to be a reality. Prophecies will jump off the page. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and the swords in their hands. And then the modern day sword is the gun. So you're going to have people shooting each other up in Babylon. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. You see that? It's going to get crazy, man. People are going to, be invading you for a lack of food, lack of bread. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. You see? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Remember, they did that shit with the Novid, where you couldn't travel, you couldn't go past certain lines if you didn't have your jump shot. It says, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and the men shall be afraid. Not just the women, the men are going to be afraid in this time. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. And this is what's coming. This is Jacob's trouble. Jacob, the elect, we're not going to be We're not going to have the luxury to get groceries in that day because we're not going to have that microchip, inside our hand or our forehead. You see? So there's going to be a lot of trouble, man. People are going to get desperate. People are going to be killing each other over food, just to trying to survive. Let's see. Okay, we'll go to Isaiah 13. It says 17. It says, I'm on verse 17. Oh yeah, and it says in the end of 13, their wives be ravished. That means raped. That's how bad it's going to get. Your woman's going to be getting raped. You don't have Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and having divine intervention in that day and age, or in that day that's coming, then your wife is going to be just a statistic, a number. Think about that. Those of you who are, putting your wife as an idol. Verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. All right, so the Medes is dealing with Russia. All right, during the time of the Medes, the reason why we know is that region is where Russia is today. Okay. And the Russians are not going to, you're not going to be able to pay off the Russians to stop, to not bring World War III. No, the Medes, which are the Russians today, they're going to start that World War III. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of. Oh shit! What happened here? I lost my spot. They shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Right? You're gonna have babies being put to death. And it's gonna get crazy chaotic. It talks about that in Psalm 137. Happy shall he be, the one that dasheth thy little ones against the stone. That's Psalm 137, the last verse. That is gonna be a reality, man. You're gonna have people who are gonna get just. It's not going to matter if you're a baby, if you're young, if you're a small child, if you're an old lady, if you're an old man, if you're a pregnant woman, your people are going to be getting fucked up. Verse 19, and Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, and Babylon is America, the beauty of the Chaldees. Chaldees, another word for a Chaldee, is a sorcerer or somebody who's into witchcraft. And that's what these wicked elite, they're into all that witchcraft shit. Doing their rituals in these forests, in these groves. You see? Where they summon demons, summon Baal, all the wickedness on the left-hand side, and then they go and make crafty counsel against you. They go and have their meetings, and they're doing all this wickedness and darkness, right? In the shadows, But it's going to be worse than when Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed. In Sodom and Gomorrah and the surrounding, there were 3 other cities. They got burnt with brimstone and fire, turning it into the brimstone. Yeah, I better not quote it because I'm probably quoting it wrong. But there was a destruction with Sodom and Gomorrah. For verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. Right, because this place is going to become desolate, burned with fire. Remember in the Revelation it talks about the whore will be burned with fire. They're going to eat her flesh. And this is talking about that destruction. So after the destruction, this place is going to be so desolate, no one's going to live here anymore. It says only, but wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and the owl shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. All right, so you're going to have, filthy, dirty creatures unclean animals that will be the only thing, around when during this destruction and during this aftermath. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And in her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged. And that's the time we're in, man. The Lord wanted me to do this lesson because I didn't know what Isaiah, the whole thing. I didn't remember exactly what it said. But reading this right here, hey, it's talking about Babylon, America, and her days not being prolonged. The Lord's putting a spirit on the prophets to constantly going into the destruction. So if we're talking about the destruction, how close is that micro-sea hit? All right? So I'm going to go ahead and close out with that. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakah Kudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Shalom to the elect.